In this video, we are going to cover Chapter 8 of the Road 1 for Open Roads Designer Connected Edition. This section will cover the 8.0 group exercise, adding right-of-way to Route 54. This chapter covers cross-sections, labeling, and end area volumes, so we'll have 6 different videos on this. This is the first video in the series. So let's just get right down into it. And the first thing that we want to do is go to 8.0 group exercise. We're going to add right-of-way to the Route 54 corridor alignment. And the way we do that, the way we're going to do this is we're going to create a new land boundary design file. Now, if your files have been delivered to you, you won't have to do this step. You already have a land boundary design file out there that you can use in your folder, in your data folder. But the instructions we're going to go over kind of goes through if you had to create from new. So within our J5P3181 folder, we're going to go to our Data 8 folder and open the corridors Route 54 J5P3181. Okay, then we're going to create a new file from that file, and we're going to name it this land boundary, and we're going to use the seed file mo.design seed 2D. So in the background off on the left, I've got MicroStation open, and I've got it already open to the corridors Route 54. So I'm going to go in there and create the new file. Before I do, I'm just going to copy out this land boundary name. Just copy that. And then go over here and do and what you see here is you've got your 54 corridor on the left. You can tell by the green handles. It's out there. And you can see that it's actually at a preliminary design stage or preliminary feature definition. And then you can see on the right side we have the model for 54 and the ramp 4 is in there. Okay, so we're really concerned about putting a right-of-way in here, but in the correct file. So we'll do a file new. And we want to check our seed file, so we'll hit the button at the bottom. We are defaulted out to the 2D design file. We'll grab it. We will get this read-only alert. We're going to say yes, we want to use it as read-only. And then we want to verify your folder is correct. Data 8. I opened my file in that folder, so it came up correctly. But you always constantly want to check these folders. Then I'm going to copy or paste in my land boundary name. Land_boundary J5P3181, and since this padlock's on, both the name and the file name get produced in the same area, and we're good to go. So I'm going to hit OK, and then it will take a moment, several moments, for it to get us to the check-in dialog for ProjectWise for the previous file. This is a bug at this point in time for us, or an issue that Bentley is looking at. It takes a little bit longer than what it used to do. Hopefully they come up with a resolution by the time we push out ORD. And yes, I'm just trying to say stuff in between here so we can keep this going before that dialog comes up. And there it is. So we have a blank brand new file. I'm going to want to see my instructions a little bit here in a little bit, so I'm going to take my MicroStation and I'm going to bring it over a little ways. Okay, so over here I've got my Word document. I want to go back to that. So I've created it. It's out there. It's blank. Next thing we want to do is apply the geographic coordinate system. And you can do this by going to the reality modeling workflow. That is located in the upper left-hand corner of MicroStation. So we can do that by hitting that pull down, and then once we change the workflow, then we'll have options come up, new tabs, and new ribbon. And on that ribbon, we're going to be looking for a coordinate system. So let's do that. So I'll go over to the Open Roads Modeling pull down, change it to reality modeling, and you can see when I do, a lot of stuff's changed. And I guess I got it out a little bit because my icons look a little off. If I can get it over a little bit. Okay. And I'm looking for that icon on the far right. So I'll select it. It brings up another dialog. You can see it's empty. There's no current geographic coordinate system applied to it yet. So let's go back to Word. Scroll down. We've done those steps. And step number 5 says the geographic coordinate system dialog will open. You can choose either to open from library or from file. In this example, we will choose file, which is the one on the right here, this button here. There's a note down here. The project falls in the NAD 83 Missouri State Plains Central Zone U.S. feet. So if you were looking for it by using by library, that's what you're looking for. But we're going to pick it from a previous file that it's already been applied to. So, and we're going to choose it from the corridors 54. And it really doesn't make any difference. You're just picking a file that does have the coordinate system applied to it. Okay, so we're looking for that coordinates Route 54 in this exercise. So I'll go back to MicroStation, hit the button from file. It brings it up, and we're looking for that corridors Route 54. We'll open it up. Brings us to the next step in the dialogues. Or in the manual, it says verify the GCS description as the NAD 83 Missouri State Plain, and you can see it's got it both in the default and in default 3D. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you see once we select it, this dialog will be filled out, and that's what we want. So we'll go back over here. We'll leave it at the default and go ahead and hit OK. Our dialog has been filled out. Coordinate system has been applied. We're good to go. We can close the button or close the box. Next thing we want to do is attach the reference files that we're going to need to create this right-of-way lines for this project. So we're going to need our civil geometry and our terrain file. So I'll go back over here, and in reality modeling, in the home, you still have a reference dialog. So we're going to use that just to click it. We'll click that and get it going. And it's tools. We'll do a tools attach. Verify the folder we're working in, which is data 8, and we're going to bring across civil geometry and the terrain. So we'll add them in. Hit the OK button. It's telling us about active set. They'll be active later. It'll be all good. So we'll just OK through those. And then we're going to OK through this. We'll do a fit view and close out reference. So there's our 54 alignment that we're going to base this right-of-way line, these right-of-way lines off of. Okay, so that was attaching it. Now, the next part is we're creating 3 individual right-of-way lines as complex elements. We're going to use Civil Accudraw with a 0 curve radius and a spiral transition. So 0 curve radius and 0. Let me just go ahead and put that in there too. 0 spiral transition lengths. And that should be bolded as part of that other part. Along with the Route 54 alignment to place accurately along the 54. We're going to use the station offset mode of Accudraw. Okay, so move this over a little bit. And we're saying, using the Open Roads Modeling Workflow tab, we're going to select the Geometry tab. And then we're going to go to the Complex by PI tool. Okay, so we'll go back to MicroStation. We'll change it over to Open Roads Modeling. Reality Modeling to Open Roads Modeling. We're at the Home tab. We want to go to the Geometry tab. And then the Geometry tab, we are looking for our Complex by PI tool. So Geometry, and that tool can be found. You can see the button above these tools shows the latest tool that was used, or the default tool when you open it up for the first time. So that one's showing the Complex by element right now. But once we change it to Complex by PI, and there's some other options under there as well. Once we change it, then this button on top will stick with this until you change it. So here's the Complex tool. I want to check on my radius of 0. I want to make sure my spirals are 0, and then we'll go from there. So back to the manual. We picked that complex by PI. Next thing we want to do is open the Civil Accudraw tool and set the mode to station and offset. So we'll go back over to MicroStation. Civil Accudraw is under the Civil toggles. It happens to be the default one, so I'm going to just select it. And you can see it's come up, but I can't find the icon anywhere. Let's see. So let's hit it again. And there it is down here at the bottom. So I'm going to bring it up. Now it's hard to change the mode. Even if I turn it on, it's hard to change that mode because there's no other options here. It's kind of a bug, so what you need to do is go back and toggle on Accudraw one more time, and it will open up and show us all the modes in there. Right now it's showing us X, Y. We need to go out to that station offset, so we're going to go out to the right a little bit. We're going to click on that station offset. Move our mouse down, you can see now we've got a station offset option. Okay, so let's go back to the manual. We've toggled that all on, station offset, so step 12 is done. Step 13, we're going to use the horizontal geometry tool complex by PI to place a line with a feature definition of design, well actually it's of right-of-way controlled access proposed, but it's found under design and right-of-way. Okay, and we're going to use it at the following locations, meaning down here we've got a couple of graphs here, charts that we've got to go through to fill out where these right-of-way lines are going. Okay, so now I'm going to look at this screenshot. Screenshot shows Civil Accudraw station offset mode. Also shows the complex by PI tool, 0 radius checked on, 0 links in our transitions, and it has that right-of-way control access proposed. So let's set that up. We'll go back over to the complex by PI tool. We're going to hit our feature definition pull down. We are going to go to linear design. Once you pick design, you're going to go down to right-of-way. And then we're looking for the one called right-of-way controlled access proposed. That's the one we want. Right-of-way controlled access proposed. So now when we place our elements out here, it will take on everything to do with this right-of-way controlled access proposed line. It'll have the feature definition part of it, so you'll see the line styles, color, weight, the whole works. Okay, so let's go back over into my manual. And we're looking at, let's see, it says to tab the offset field to select the letter and select the letter O on the keyboard, then select the Route 54. And this will make Civil Accudraw work with that Route 54. Okay, so we're going to do that in a minute, but I'm going to take this part and I'm going to slide it out of the way here so I can see what I'm working on. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to tab to the offset field. You can tab through all these different options. We're going to tab to the offset. We're going to hit the letter O on the keyboard, O, and then it says select reference element or reset to return to command. We don't want to do that. We want to go ahead and left click on our alignment that we want to follow. So we're going to left click on that alignment. Now everything's going to be based off of that 54. You can see how the dotted crosshair is now formed to that Route 54. So now what we have to do is go over and start inputting the information that we have. On that left side, we've got on the right side over there, we've got a left side information. So the left side is going to be the right of way on this left side. Now the left side is, since we're running station north to south, will be the actual right side of the screen. But we're standing there and traversing this alignment, that's where it's at. It's on the left side. So our entries, when we give it an offset, will be a negative to the left side. Now, there's another thing we got to talk about is we have our station equation out here. So with the station equation, when we go to input information in here, you'll have a region 1 that's before the station equation, and you'll have a region 2 after the station equation. So let's start inputting these lines. Go to station. First one, 602 plus 60. And we're going to give it a space, region 1. and we'll hit the enter key to lock that in. When you move your mouse, you can see that blue dotted line shows up, showing us that's where our station's at. Now we're going to go to our offset and key in a -30 or -300. Hit the enter key. Move our mouse again, and you can see it's locked into this location. So we'll go ahead and left click, and then we'll start building this right-of-way line. So the next station, and you see it goes right to station. So if it doesn't go to station, you would want to use your tab button to get to the station field. We want 613 plus 44 space. Now this one's in region 2, so we'll go R2 for region 2. We'll hit the enter key, move our mouse. Now, if you don't use the R's on there, you'll see it'll be off by whatever that station amount is. In our case, it's 1.01 feet. Now we're going to give it the offset for that 613, which is -374. We'll lock that in, move our mouse, and place that line by left clicking. One simple left click will place it. Now we'll go to station 614 plus 78, and again that's region 2. We'll lock that in, move our mouse, and you can see I've lost my Accudraw crosshairs and stuff. It seems like a real nice feature here. Another bug that's started to annoy me, but 61478, it's still working. You can see that it's locked to that station. For some reason, I've lost my graphics. Kind of aggravating, but we'll continue on. So it's a -604 feet. I've done this video, I would say 8 times because of this issue. I'm going to continue on with it at this point in time. The next one's going to be 620 plus 13, and we'll give it an R2, region 2. Move our mouse, we see that it's locked into that station. Go to -574, lock that in, accept it, and then we're moving on to the next point, which is the 622 station. 622 plus 18 space region 2. Move the mouse, give it that offset, and I like to use my wheel just to zoom in and out. But and you can use pan button, whatever you want to do, but -200 we'll put in here. Lock that in. Left click to accept that value, and then we're moving on to the last point, which is 635 plus 00 region 2. Lock it in. Move the mouse, you can see it's locked into that station, and we're going to give it a -200 for the offset. And then we'll simply left click to place it, and then once we're finished we can right click to place it. Now if you made any mistakes along the way, you can always go back and change them just by selecting the element that you just placed. Maybe in here you had forgot the minus sign and it jumped out to here. No worries, you can just select it, pick that entry, give it that -200, and you can change it. Any one of these, anything that's orange can be edited, and you can change that. If your distance was off, maybe you put 354 instead of 374, you can change it. So it's fully editable. Just over a little bit more, and then we'll go to the right side. Hopefully, I have no confidence that it'll happen, but hopefully my Accudraw compass comes back when we start the next tool. So now we want to do the right side. It takes the same information as far as the right of way. So we're going to go back to complex by PI tool. Remember I told you if you change the tool down here, it sticks to the last tool you were using. So you can just simply go up to the button. It brings it up. 0, 0, 0. Right of way control access proposed. This dialog set up and ready to go. And look at that. My crosshairs are back. Sweet. So we'll start entering that first point. So on the right side, you have 2 pieces. You have a piece before one road, and then it stops and it picks up on the other side. So I'll zoom in a little bit. We're going to go to tab to station. I can see it's already following my alignment. It still knows that 54 is what I want to be targeting. So my station, I'm going to key in a 602 plus 60, and that's region 1. So I'll lock it in, move my mouse, it's locked in, give it an offset. And again, now we're on the right side of the template, so it's all positive numbers. You don't need the negative, so we'll just key in 305. With the offset, we'll go ahead and accept that by left clicking in a blank area. Now it's rubber banding off my cursor. I will go out and key in the next station, 607 plus 00, and that is also region 1. Lock that in, move the mouse, and then we're going to go to the offset of 305. Lock it in, move our mouse, and that's where that line is going to go. You've seen it was graphically shown to this point, snapping to it. But once we fill out the information, we've got it where it's going. We go ahead and left click to place it. And that's all we need for that part. So we'll go ahead and right click and in that line. And then we're going to pick up on the other side of the alignment here. So we're going to go to 609.24. And that's region 2. Lock it in. Go ahead and left click to place it. And then our offset's going to be 175. What is going on? 175. Let's do that one over. Didn't seem like it was taken very well. So station 609 plus 24 R2 enter. So it's locked in. I didn't see my padlock last time we put it in there. It looked like it was graphically doing it, but it wasn't working. So you got to keep an eye on these tools at this point in time. Now we're locked in, so moving in a little closer. We'll go ahead and left click to start this line. And then we're going to go to 615. Yeah, that point was nowhere near where I placed it now. So 615 plus 00 R2. So it's locked in. And our offset is going to be 175. We'll lock it in and move out and give it a left click and we're placing again. So 616.31 R2 locked in, move our mouse. Offset's going to be 315 feet. Lock it in, move our mouse, and place the line by left clicking again. So next one, 618 plus 20 R2 locked in, move our mouse. Offset on this one is going to be 328. Lock it in, move the mouse. We get our solution. We'll go ahead and left click to accept it. And we're moving on to the next one. So now we're down to 623 plus 49. Oops. And that is region 2 as well. We'll lock that in. Move the mouse and give it an offset of 198. Lock that in, move the mouse, accept that information. 627 plus 00 is our next one. R2. Again, I like to move the mouse, and then we'll do a 260 offset on this. Left click to place it. 630 is our next station. Locked in. Move the mouse. The offset is 200. Move our mouse. We like that. We'll go ahead and left click to place it. And the last one is 635. Move the mouse. We're locked into that, and our offset is 200 once again. We'll accept that and then left click to place it. We are finished with the right of way on the right side, so we can simply right click to end the tool. And I'm going to hit F4 and clear out the tool. Okay, so now we've got right-of-way on both sides, but there's more to it. Let's go back to our manual. Bring it back into play a little bit. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to bring it right here. Then we're going to scroll down. Okay, it says if the terrain's not active, make it active. We haven't done that, so let's do that. Wow. We'll select a terrain model. We'll get it to highlight, get our heads-up display, and select the second option, set as active terrain model. And that will allow us to put profiles on these right-of-way lines, and that's what we need to do. So it says open the profile view of each just placed right-of-way controlled access proposed element, and then set the existing round as the active profile. We can do that. So what we'll do is we'll start with this little one on the left, select it, get our heads-up display, go to open profile model, and then we're going to turn off Civil Accudraw, and then go down to window 8. We'll open window 8 up, and then it tells you to select or open the view. So all we need to do now is left click in that blank window 8, and that was sweet. Kind of see if I could do a fit. You can see anything in there. Okay, I do. So there's my my alignment. I just kind of changed the look of the box, the window. So what I want to do is make this profile active. So all I got to do is come into it, highlight, get my heads-up display, set as active profile. Bam, that's all that tool needs. Okay, then I'm going to go to the next one, do the same thing. I'm going to empty that profile into that window 8 that I've already got open. Select it. Now this right-of-way, right side right-of-way line appears in my window. So all I got to do to that, get my heads-up display again and make it active. And the reason we're doing active, I will get to in a minute. And then the last part is doing that left side, and we'll do that by doing the same thing. Select the alignment, the heads-up display, go to the open profile model, select the window we've been working with, that window 8. It puts the profile for that alignment in here, or that line, right-of-way line. Select the profile, find a spot that you can get the tools to pop up, and then set as active profile. And when you hover over it, it should say that it's active. Active profile down. In SS4 we were able to name these things. In ORD there's no way to name these, but I don't believe the naming meant much, so we should be okay on this. So I'm going to close out of that profile window, and let's get down to the note. The note says by setting active the right-of-way line profile, future cross sections will show a label of all locations and of said right-of-way line in the dynamic cross-section window and name boundary created cross-section sheets and models. So it's going to show up in your dynamic cross-sections. You'll see labels out there, and on the cross-sections you will see the same thing. You'll see those labels, right-of-way labels, show up. Next thing we want to do is update our server copy. So we'll do a file. I'll save, file, update server copy. Now we'll do it when we check in the next file, or when we move to the next file, but it's always good to keep that stuff updated. Now, updating the corridors file. Within the J5P3181 data 8 folder, we're going to open up our, and there's a mistake there. We need to do an underscore route dash 54. And that's what we're going to open up, the corridors, route 54. J5P3181. Let me save that. And then we're going to reference in our newly created land boundary. So let's go do this. So File, Browse, and we're going to our corridors route 54. Open that up, and this should go pretty quick. It's the first file that I opened today, so that's the way we expect this speed to run on in ProjectWise, to open and closing files. It should be that quick, and hopefully they get it that way soon. Okay, so step number 18 said open the file. Step 19 says reference in the newly created land boundary file. So let's do that. So I'm at geometry. I'm going to go to the home tab, which brings up my options for attached tools. And then I'm going to attach that. And then I'm going to do a tools attach. That's from previous sessions. I've been trying to work with this. So here's land boundary from our data 8 folder we just created. We're going to add that in, and I'm going to open it up. Go with the defaults here. Hit OK. Close out of the reference, and you can see it's in the background here. Sweet. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to verify the dynamic cross-section views shows the right-of-way lines. So that's the next step of it. So we're going to open up our dynamic cross-section view. I want to get where I know there's right-of-way lines so I can see them. So I'm going to come out down here somewhere. How about, first I'll open the dynamic cross-section tool. And that's by, again, choosing your corridor, going to the second option, your corridor views, and then open up the dynamic, the cross-section model by hitting 8. And then it should populate it in there. It's kind of big for me, but I'll bring it down a little bit. I want to be okay. So what I'm going to do is right now I started at 6:30. I'm just going to go, wants me to select. Okay, now I'm back in here at the beginning of it. So what I want to do is I want to get down in this area. So I'm going to right click, and then locate station via data point has moved from the top near the middle. That's what we're looking for. When you use that option, it allows you to go out and pick either a plan or profile view. We want the plan view. And once you do, you get this station thing rubber banding off your cursor, and you just want to get where I can see my right-of-way lines, which is right in this area. I can see both sides. So around 6:30, I'll click it. It populates that cross-section in my view, and then I can zoom out. And I see something is up. Something is not right. Let's make sure this is still active. It is. Let's see if this has... I didn't think I seen the right-of-way lines come across there, so let's see if I can... It says land boundaries. They're there. And now for some reason, there they are. I just had to go back and up a station for some reason. I'm in an oddball station. There they are. So it zoomed in kind of tight. Once you tab through, you can see it does place the right-of-way labels out there for you to see that you're within your project limits on that. And that is pretty much, that's the end of this exercise.